I've been doing these level-by-level breakdowns for a while now. A few people in the comments from the last video were asking me to cover the Squirtle line specifically. Honestly, it's a pretty interesting case because you're going from one of the weakest base stat totals of any starter at level 1 all the way up to a genuinely solid competitive pick by the time you fully evolve it. I'm going to be walking through every major stage of Squirtle's growth, covering the stats, the move options, the ability considerations, what actually changes in a meaningful way each time it levels up or evolves. I'll be organising this loosely around 3 phases: early Squirtle, Wartortle, Blastoise, with the evolution thresholds at level 16 and level 36 acting as the natural dividers. And just so you know, I'm talking about this line from a general gameplay and competitive standpoint rather than locking it to any single game. So I'll mention format-specific stuff where it's relevant. At level 1, Squirtle is sitting at a base stat total of 314. That is exactly what you'd expect from an unevolved starter. It has 44 HP, 48 attack, 65 defense, 50 special attack, 64 special defense, and 43 speed. The defensive stats, standing notably higher than its offensive and speed numbers right from the start, is actually kind of telling about what this line wants to do. I think that's a design choice from Game Freak that holds up pretty well across all 3 stages. Its only ability out of the hidden ability pool at this point is Torrent, that boosts water-type moves by 50% when Squirtle is below a third of its HP. Rain Dish, as the hidden ability, passively recovers a 16th of its max HP every turn in Rain. Rain Dish is the more interesting of the 2 for team-building purposes, but Torrent is fine for in-game since you won't always have Rain support. For the early levels, Squirtle's move access is pretty limited, but functional enough that you're not going to feel helpless. Bubble is the main damage output early on. While 40 base power isn't exciting, it does have a 10% chance to drop the target's speed. That has saved me more times than I'd care to admit in early gym fights. Withdraw is available right away as well. A +1 defense boost on something that already has decent physical bulk is legitimately useful in those first couple of routes. Tail Whip and Water Gun round out the early options. Water Gun at 40 base power with full accuracy and stab is just reliable enough to carry you through the early game without really needing anything else. Between roughly level 7 and level 15, Squirtle starts picking up Bite. That is honestly a nice surprise given how many water types get absolutely zero coverage for anything that resists water. Dark-type coverage hitting Ghost and Psychic types at 60 base power with a 30% flinch chance is genuinely useful. Rapid Spin also becomes available around this range depending on which game you're playing. It's worth knowing about for any competitive context where entry hazard removal is valuable. At level 13, Squirtle also gets access to Water Pulse. That has 60 base power and a 20% confusion chance. The jump to Wartortle at level 16 is where things start to feel noticeably different. The base stat total goes from 314 all the way up to 405. That's close to a 100-point gain across the board, with every single stat seeing an increase. Defense goes from 65 to 80, special defense from 64 to 80, special attack from 50 to 65, speed from 43 up to 58. Wartortle can genuinely take hits that would knock out a lot of other mid-game Pokémon. For moves in the Wartortle phase, the most important addition in my opinion is Ice Beam, that you can typically pick up from a TM vendor depending on which game you're in. That coverage is massive for this line. Ice Beam hitting Grass and Dragon types means that your 2 main weaknesses from a type matchup standpoint, specifically Grass, which is one of Squirtle's only real problem types, suddenly has a clean answer. Aqua Tail comes in around this range as well and gives Wartortle a physical water option at 90 base power. That matters more than you might think, since you're sometimes going to be hitting physical defense stats on bulkier opponents rather than special defense. At level 36, you hit Blastoise. This is where the line genuinely becomes a serious option in a lot of different contexts. The final base stat total lands at 530, with 79 HP, 83 attack, 100 defense, 85 special attack, 105 special defense, and 78 speed. That special defense of 105 is legitimately impressive and puts Blastoise in a tier of special bulk that a lot of water types can't match. The 100 physical defense means it's checking both sides of the defensive spectrum. Blastoise's move pool at this stage is genuinely well-rounded. Hydro Pump is the high-powered go-to at 110 base power with 80 accuracy. Surf is the more reliable option at 90 power with perfect accuracy. Water Spout is a situational nuke that outputs up to 150 base power when Blastoise is at full HP. Ice Beam stays relevant as coverage. Dark Pulse now gives Blastoise a special Dark-type option to go alongside Bite if you want something with a bit more range. Shell Smash is also in the picture here. A +2 attack, special attack. Speed boost on something with Blastoise's natural bulk is a setup sweeper concept that's actually been used in competitive play. Mega Blastoise through the Blastoisanite takes things to a completely different level. The base stat total to 630 with Mega Launcher as the ability. That boosts pulse moves like Water Pulse, Dark Pulse, Aura Sphere by 50%. That means Water Pulse is hitting at 90 effective base power with a 20% confusion chance. Dark Pulse at 120 effective base power. Aura Sphere at 120 effective base power with guaranteed accuracy on a fighting-type move that covers most of what water doesn't. The special defense goes up to 115 and special attack to 135. So Mega Blastoise, in formats where it was available, was a genuinely threatening special attacker. I always thought it was one of the more creative Mega designs from a mechanics standpoint. If you want to leave your thoughts on which moves or sets you prefer for this line, feel free to drop those in the comments. I've got plenty more high-level analysis on the way, so make sure to like the video and subscribe to stay in the loop with every new upload. Thanks for watching, and I'll catch you in the next one.